How to handle your anxiety every day. Maria, a 35-year-old woman living in a large city, had been living with the burden of anxiety for years. Her daily life was filled with stressful situations, from her work to social obligations and her personal relationships. Almost every day, she felt her body tense up, her heart rate accelerate, and her mind overwhelmed with worries about the future. At first, Maria believed her anxiety was just a natural reaction to the demands of life. But over time, the anxiety began to affect her life in much more intense ways. She couldn't sleep well at night, she had constant headaches, and she felt more and more drained, both mentally and physically. She felt like she was getting lost in a world full of fears and worries that she couldn't control. One day, after visiting her doctor for a muscular pain caused by the tension, he encouraged her to see a psychologist. That day, Maria decided to take the first step toward change. She felt she had reached a point where she needed to take action, as her anxiety was taking over her life. Her first session with the therapist was an eye-opener. The therapist explained to Maria that anxiety is often a response of the body to situations we perceive as threatening or beyond our control. However, anxiety can become chronic if we don't learn how to manage it properly. The therapist guided her through a series of techniques and strategies to help reduce her anxiety every day. Some of the key techniques were recognizing anxiety. Maria learned to recognize the first signs of anxiety. Instead of ignoring or suppressing it, she started to observe when her anxiety started and write down her thoughts. This awareness was the first step in managing her anxiety. Breathing and relaxation. She learned how to use deep breathing techniques to calm her body and mind. Whenever she felt anxiety taking over, she would stop for a few minutes and practice slow, deep breaths. Setting realistic expectations. She learned to set realistic goals for her day and avoid overloading herself with more than she could handle. The therapist helped her recognize when the expectations of others or her own were unrealistic, which contributed to her anxiety. Recognizing the inner critic, Maria realized that her harsh self-criticism often fueled her anxiety. She began focusing on positive thoughts and avoiding negative self-talk. Exercise and physical activity. Physical exercise also proved to be highly effective in reducing her anxiety. Maria started taking morning walks and exercised for a few minutes each day, which helped release tension and made her feel better. Over time, Maria began to feel more calm and in control of her anxiety. The techniques she learned helped her manage her stress more effectively and regain her emotional balance. At first, it was difficult, but with the help of therapy and her determination, she started seeing positive changes in her life. Lesson of the story: anxiety is a natural response to many situations in life, but when we allow it to take over, it can affect our physical and mental health. Recognizing anxiety, practicing deep breathing and relaxation techniques, focusing on positive thinking, and incorporating physical activity can help manage it. Don't be afraid to seek help and take the first steps to improve your mental well-being.